Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel, and welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before. Please subscribe, like, comment. We're trying to get to 500. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers, then 1,000, so we can start doing some good things for charity. Please help us out in that endeavor. Today we're going to talk about new habits. We've got over 360 audios for you to check out, so please do that as well. New habits. How do you make them stick? And so it's important to understand that a habit takes anywhere from 30 to 90 days to stick, depending on the mindset of the person, the commitment of the person, and just kind of the biochemistry of how their mind adjusts to things. So there are some people that are really lucky, and it takes about a month, and some people it takes about 3 months. But usually by the 3-month mark, your habit's pretty well stuck. So the first thing, the most important thing, and I tell people this all the time, know your why. And ultimately, your why is not because you should. If that's the only why that you have, you will not succeed. Because shoulds come from other people's expectations or societal norms or other places that are not personal to you. And so your why has to come from within you. I'd like to make other people happy. Can be a reasonable why in the short run. But why do you want to do that? Because it would make life simpler. Or because it would cut down on fighting. Or because I really don't want them to cry. Or because I really don't want them to yell at me and throw a frying pan at me. Like, you have to come up with a why that's compelling so that you can stick to it, and it's not because somebody else told you you should. One of the major problems with many belief systems, be they political, religious, societal, or whatever, is that if the only reason you're doing something is because someone else told you you should and you don't have conviction about it, you won't stick to it. That's just not going to, it's not going to work. You may do it under some degree of duress or internal protest for a few months, a few weeks, maybe even a year or two, but at the end of the day, you're going to rebel against it when it no longer fits what matters to you. The next is know your triggers. So for every bad behavior, there are triggers. There are things that set you off course. If you overeat, there's a reason why. If you're addicted to alcohol, drugs, pornography, whatever, there's a reason why. If you know the things that set you into the bad behavior, if you know the things that set you into the negative feedback loop that sets you backwards, and you can identify them, and you can identify them as they begin to happen, not once they've already happened. You can cut them off, you can interrupt them, you can go for a walk, you can change your physical position, you can talk to somebody, you can do something else, you can change where you are, your environment, and all of these other things. If you don't know your triggers, you're going to have a really hard time changing negative behaviors because you're not deep into the why you do the opposite of what you promised yourself you would do. And knowing the why on both sides, the good and the bad, is part of formulating a new habit. Kill any rewards that you have for engaging in the bad habit. So if, for example, you go, well, I only had 2 beers today, that means I can have chocolate cake. What? Just because you're cutting down on something and you reward yourself for doing less of a bad thing than you used to do, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should be doing that. Instead, find a reward that is something you wouldn't normally get to do, or normally get to experience, or normally get to live through, and go from there. When your rewards are rewarding yourself for less negative behavior, you're kicking yourself in the butt before you even really get started and changing the habit. Also understand that progress is important. So keep a progress audio journal or written journal, depending on where you're comfortable, about the things you've done. If you're, for example, trying to give up overeating and you go 2 days, that's worth celebrating. Not with food, obviously, but find ways to celebrate 2 days or a week or a month. And little tiny milestones, that's how they become bigger. But if you're a person that has issues with self-injury or more self-destructive behaviors, sometimes you need to celebrate just getting through the day. And that could be affirmations, that could be listening to your favorite song, or watching an extra episode of your favorite TV show, finding a way to reward yourself, but also realizing that progress is a one step at a time kind of thing. The last one is keep a supportive environment. So, if you have a food or alcohol addiction, remove the temptations from around your immediate environment. If you need support from others, ask for it. So, that means building relationships with as many people as need may be for you to have someone to reach out to when you're feeling weak. It also means having accountability partners, people that will spontaneously ask how you're doing with your new goals and your new aspirations. That doesn't mean that that's all your relationship is about, but a 2 minute to 5 minute check in every day when you're starting a new habit, and then every other day when you're doing a little better, and then once a week, and then as you go, it helps you to have the accountability partners. And it's good to have two or three of those, not just one. Because there might be a person that's so tired of hearing about what you're doing with this one thing, they may look at you and go, all right, I don't really care today. But if you have two or three people you can turn to in the same scenario, there might be a person you haven't talked to in a while who's really jazzed up about your progress, who might give you a little bit of incentive to keep going. And so, hopefully that's been helpful to you. Again, we've got over 360 audios, variety of topics. Please feel free to reach out. And until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.